All right, Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Please don't forget to smash that like button. Give me a comment, your prediction on the national championship game, if that's what you're into. Of course, that's what we're talking about right here, and that's the focus of college football for the next several days right here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Talking the Clemson side of the Alabama matchup with Grant Matheny. We got Jason Priester also on the line, both from Shaken, the Southland. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing just fine. Jason, do you get nervous for these big games?
Yes, not like I used to. I'm not quite as emotionally tied to them as I used to be, but still quite nervous.
What do you say, Grant?
Yeah, a little bit. Certainly being in the college football playoff for the past 4 years has made those nerves down go a little bit with experience. So,
Grant, you guys were such a heavy favorite throughout the season, had a couple of close calls against Syracuse and Texas A&M. Did you forecast an undefeated season? What was your original perspective on this year?
yeah, I pretty much expected them to go undefeated and win the ACC. If you looked at their schedule, wasn't the most difficult schedule. So, yeah, I'd say I pretty much thought they'd go undefeated.
Jason, how long you been a Clemson fan?
All my life.
So
I'm almost 45. So
all right. So this is I've had this conversation with Ryan Cantor, who's quite a bit younger, but still been a Clemson fan for quite some time. And it's just a new age of Clemson football. So I don't think I'll offend anyone here by saying Clemson, from the time I started watching college football, which I did catch the 81 national championship, but then it quickly turned into a lot of 7 and 5s and 8 and 4s for the next 25 years or so. And until Dabo kicked in, even his first few years, and then he had to get over the Florida State hurdle, even though he built some nationally recognized teams there for a couple of years with Taj Boyd and Sammy Watkins. And this program was Kansas State. We could liken it to Texas A&M. Winning 7-8 games every year, that sort of thing over the past 30 years. Jason, did you have somebody else?
I was going to say any program stuck in the middle is a mediocrity.
Yeah, 4th or 5th place team that got to bowl games, jumped up and maybe won 9 or 10 games every so often, but typically was in that 6 to 6 to 8 and 4 category. And then all of a sudden, boom, you guys are a top 10 program for a couple of years, and now elite, now considered 1 or 1A. How does that make you feel, Jason?
I never thought I'd see it, to be honest. After 35 years of one gut punch after another, it kind of becomes ingrained in you. Even back in 2015, when they went undefeated and made their first national championship game appearance against Alabama, late into that season, I was still waiting on the loss because I knew it was coming. And I really didn't buy in until late in the season when they beat Florida State in Death Valley that day. But a lot of people were already bought in. It took me a little bit longer to buy in than most.
That national championship first appearance. I'm a little bit younger, so I didn't get to see all the older teams, but definitely I remember that first season. That was a special year.
Yeah, the culture is huge. And obviously to connect with these young people, I think it's different than it was 20 years ago. And with the social media, you still have to be accountable and hold them accountable and treat them as young men. And there has to be the order and that sort of thing, but you got to connect with them. I think Nick Saban's maybe a dying breed. And I don't want to overplay that he doesn't connect with his players. It's just different. He's an old school guy. Urban Meyer, an old school guy, but they build up such a resume that they could still go in anybody's household and recruit them just because, man, this is what we've done. Are you coming? Sort of thing. But Dabo Swinney is basically connected with people, and he's almost mastered the new school way of connecting to players and recruiting and then building a program.
Oh, I don't think he's almost mastered it. He has mastered it. He is the master. He connects with these guys, and they buy into him. They believe what he tells them, and the results speak for themselves. It's a pretty easy sell when you go into a recruit's house and have to convince his parents to let their kid come stay with you the next 3 or 4 years. I mean, the results speak the results are there. They speak for themselves. It's a pretty easy sell.
Yeah, I just think it kind of goes back to, like, if you look at all, like, the successful kind of young coaches, they're all players first coaches. I think Dabo's kind of actually started that wave of kind of the young guys. You saw him a couple years dancing in the locker room, just having fun. And I think players really enjoy that, and that's what really makes them want to go to Clemson.